All right, can y'all hear me now? All right, fantastic. Okay, thank y'all very much for showing up. Welcome to another edition of Joel Davis Media Network. I'm your host, Joel Davis. I want to give a shout out to everybody that is currently on the stream as we speak on Rumble and on YouTube. Sorry, I have not done a lot of streams lately. I have been helping my wife recover from surgery, which I told you guys when a little rough couple of weeks trying to get that, but now she is getting better. So you will see a little bit more of me than what you've seen in the past. So I know that I'm late to the party about what's going on with Diddy, and I wanted to make this a actual how can I put this? Yeah, I wanted to make this an actual how can I say it? An actual whole session uh dedicated to the situation because this is a powerful situation. This is something that we have probably not going to see in our lifetime because are a lot of things that are being brought to light. Now, since the arrest, we can uh, pretty much see that a lot of people are not talking, a lot of the big wigs that's in the music industry are not talking about what is going on with Diddy. Uh, Reason being because people are scared out of their mind, and they have every right to be scared because this is a situation that is going to affect the music industry for a very long time. And it's also a warning to other people that no matter how big you get in this game of Hollywood, if you do not follow the rules of the powers that be, you start crossing people the wrong way, they are going to get their get back. And when they get their get back, it is not going to be good. Now, a lot of people are blown away because, again, P. Diddy is worth a billionaire is a billionaire, not a millionaire, but a billionaire. So when you're dealing with a billionaire, this is a whole different ball game because in people's mind, this shouldn't even he shouldn't even be in jail. He should have people that is ready to lay down on the sword for him, and he should be in the clear. But unfortunately, it didn't play out that way. Now, there's been rumors about P. Diddy's improper behavior for years. And that improper behavior has really rubbed people the wrong way. Because in people's mind, they have been like, yo, what's going on, Claude? How can this be? How can a man of this stature have these many secrets? Well, guys, it's because we already know in the music industry there's so many rituals, so many people have testified to how these rituals get down. I'm not even going into that, but you get my drift. This is how these folks move. This is how they're able to do the things they do. Now, I'm going to break down a little bit of history of P. Diddy because I'm not going to go all into the inner details of his start because to do that, that would take a super long time, and I'm not gonna do you guys like that, but I will hit on the important notes of his start in his career. And then we will go into how the feds starting to investigate how he is. Also, we also going to start to talk about on this show that there is currently a book that is going around that is actually on sale on Amazon with his ex-girlfriend slash the baby mother of most of his kids, Kim Porter, who goes in very much depth of how twisted, how disturbed Diddy really is. Now, a lot of people on, I would say, Diddy's side of the track are trying to say, oh, that's not her words. That's somebody that's making this up. But the details that she shares, the intimate knowledge that has been released in this book, only Kim would know this. Someone that is intimate with you, someone that has been in your life would know this type of stuff. So this is not something that just came out of the freaking sky. So let's get that straight too. So we will talk about that. There is some. I will touch a little bit about some of the history of his artists who also can testify to who this guy really is. I mean, it's 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 just sad. Like, who would ever thought that a man of this type of power would put himself in this position? You would think a man of this power, seeing what has happened to Russell Simmons, what has happened to R. Kelly, what has happened to all of the greats right now in the music world, you would think that Diddy would have common sense enough to change his ways. But again, when you're drunken with power, you're not going to change your ways. You are going to continue to push the envelope, especially when you got people around who don't mind protecting you. You got to remember that Diddy has had people protecting him for years because he was a cash cow, a business genius. And we always talk about this on the show. If you are a person that can make people money and you can make money at a high rate, people are going to protect you. They don't give a damn what you got going on. They're going to protect you. And the reason why they're going to protect you is because you are a valuable asset to them. But once you stop making the money, just like we saw with uh, R. Kelly, as we have saw with Harvey Weinstein, they cut you loose. They put you out to the wolves. You are no longer important. This is where these guys forget. They are no longer important once they do that. That's their way of saying, okay, man, I done dealt with you enough. Now you becoming a liability. You gotta go. And a lot of these guys don't understand that. Well, how am I a liability? I made you so much money in the past, and this it doesn't matter. It's about the now. These guys look at the now. If you're going to ruin my name, I can't deal with you. That's how they see it. And that is an awful thing to get labeled being a liability risk. Nobody wants that. Nobody. Nobody wants to be considered a liability. You want to be considered as a resolution. But yeah, it doesn't work out that way when you're acting the fool. So let me update this right quick so y'all know what it is. services tonight. Going in. I'm about to bring to the screen to you the man who is in trouble. So let me go ahead on and pull this. All right, I got his picture shot up. We're about to go up here and share it and get on with this whole thing so you guys know what we're talking about, who we're talking about, and how it is going down. All right, let's jump into this. So, if you see on my right, this is Puff Daddy, also known as Puff, also known as Puffy, also known as Diddy, and also known as Brother Love. Now, I'm going to give you a little backstory about Puff Daddy and his rise to fame. I want to make it very quick and very straight to the point. So, with that being stated, we're going to go and talk about it. Now, P. Diddy's real name is Sean Combs. Okay? Now, Sean Combs was born on November the 4th in 1969 in a Harlem neighborhood of New York City. When he was born, his born to his mother named Janice Combs. She was a model and a teacher's assistant. And his father's name was Melvin Earl Combs. He served in the U.S. Air Force, and he was an associate of convicted New York drug dealer Frank Lucas. All right. Now, at the age of 33, Melvin was shot dead while sitting in his car on Central Park West when Combs was just 2 years old. Combs also had a sister that grew up with him. Now, they said that when this happened, it really devastated uh, Puff's whole childhood because he doesn't really remember his father, but he heard so many stories about how his father was really a G. But there's always been rumors too that Puff Daddy's father, Melvin Combs, was allegedly a rat, and that's why he got knocked off. Again, this is just alleged information that's been passed down to the streets. Anyway, as he grew up in this era of poverty, Combs' mother made sure that he was in the Catholic Church and served as an altar boy. Then she moved him to Mount Vernon area. And in the Mount Vernon area, she felt like it was a better neighborhood and that he could actually have a chance to get a good education. Now, he graduated from Mount St. Michael Academy, which is an all boys Catholic school, in 1987. He played football for the academy, and his team won a divisional title in 1986. Combs said he was given the nickname Puff as a child because he would huff and puff when he was angry, and he had an extremely bad temper. Looks like they didn't change him when he became an adult. Combs was a business major at Howard University. Okay. Now, if you don't know who Howard University is, it's in DC. It's an historical black college. But he only left after his second year. But in 2014, he did return to Howard University to receive an honorary doctorate in humanities. But we'll talk about that later. And he also was able to deliver the university's 146th commencement address. Now, Combs at the time really had a thing for music. All right, he wanted to be in the music business. This was his calling. This is what he wanted to do. So, when you got that calling bug, he decided to actually start trying to find him an internship. And the first internship that he jumped on was Uptown Records. Now, Uptown Records back in the day was considered to be a very premier place to be at. All right. When we talking about uh hip hop what they call that joint? Uptown Records, it was the joint. I mean, that's just what it was. Everybody wanted to be a part of that actual label because it was a premier label. Now, this label was ran under the guidance of Andre Harrell. Now, if you don't know who Andre Harrell is, I will give you a quick synopsis of Mr. Andre Harrell. Now, Andre Harrell was a guy who first started out in the music business in a rap group called Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Now, he was with Alonzo Brown in 1980. Now, they signed with Profile Records the following year, but then they broke up in 1986. And that's when he founded the record label Uptown Records that same year. Now, he was also Andre Harrell was very close to Clive Davis. Please keep in mind Clive Davis because he's very important into how we arrive into the history of Diddy being in the situation that he's in. Now, when Andre Harrell first met Diddy, he was impressed because Diddy had this go-getter spirit. Nobody never seen ever heard of a go-getter like Diddy. I mean, Diddy just was a go-getter. This is what it was. Like Diddy just didn't care. He just got it done. Now, during that time, he became and moved up from an intern to being a talent director at Uptown. And he also helped develop Jodeci. Now, if you check out Jodeci's documentary, they will tell you this is a group from North Carolina that had to make multiple trips to, well, not multiple trips. They actually had to really put in work after they even got discovered by Andre Harrell to even get a shot at being a part of the lineup. I mean, they'll tell you more in depth of that in their actual documentary. Again, you can look it up. It's all over YouTube. Any of those you can verify. Mary J. Blige, on the other hand, was also another talent that, again, Sean Combs, aka Puffy, actually developed. Now, in his college days, though, there was rumors that Diddy threw parties. He threw a lot of parties, especially when he became a part of the his college fraternity. Now I forgot the name of the fraternity for the Howard University, but I know once he became a part of that fraternity, he would throw a lot of parties. He was well known for that. He was the party man. People would tell you anytime you wanted a good party, he was the one to come to. I mean, that's just what it was. Everybody called him the party man. Now, as time went on, he also had around that time in the 90s Usher to be living with him as well at 13 years of age to be a part of the uh, flavor camp, Puffy's flavor camp. It was supposed to be this camp that developed young artists. And Usher was like the first of those young artists that was a part of that. Now, he had said in 2016, Usher, that, hey, listen, Usher had a wild lifestyle. Even back then, I saw a lot of things, this, that, and the third. And this is back in 1991. So again, from 1990 to actually going into the mid 1990s, Puffy was wide open. Now, Puffy also had another best friend named Heavy D. They grew up together. They were real tight. Now, Heavy D is also a rapper. Well, they had decided in 1991 to promote an AIDS found fundraiser to make people aware of what was going on, because AIDS was really, 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 really the talk of the town back then in the 90s. People were just completely scared to death because there was actually no cure or no way to slow it down. Well, during that time, that's when the City College of New York Gymnasium was where it's going to be having its party at. Well, unfortunately, there was a tragedy. There was a stampede due to poor security and not a strategic way to keep the people uh, coming in a safe manner, and 9 people died. Now, after this happened, a couple of years later, Combs was fired from Uptown Records in 1993. You would think being fired from Uptown that's the end of Puff, right? Okay, you got fired, you go back to college, you live a 9 to 5 life. Yeah, that wasn't gonna happen. Not with Puff. Puff decided that since he got fired, the best thing that he could do was to get his artists that he helped found it, which was Notorious B.I.G., Craig Mack, to actually follow him so he can establish his own label, Bad Boy Records. Now, rumor has it on the street, before he went to Clive Davis to get the money to do this venture, that there was some hustlers that he knew, some dope boys that was going to invest with him, and they had the money, and they was going to cover him, and he was going to make sure they got paid, and everybody was going to be eating good. But unfortunately, they got caught up with the Fed. After that happened, his only resource was to go to Big Daddy Clyde Davis. Now, there's rumors out there on the street that he had to do something strange for some change for Clyde, allegedly, to get this done. Now, again, I have not seen any documentation or any reports about it, but I do know that Clive liked Puffy a lot. and he was willing to front Puffy the money to open up Bad Boy Records. And it was a joint venture again with Arista Records, which Clive Davis was over. So Combs brought the Uptown kids that was believing in him, Notorious B.I.G. Then he got Craig Mack. And then after that, after Ready to Die hit from Biggie, he started signing more people to Bad Boy. Carl Thomas, which was later. Faith Evans, which was during the height of Biggie. 112, which was later. Total, which was during the height of Biggie. Father MC, which was during the height of Biggie. Then he had the Hitmen, which was his in-house production team. Now they worked with Jodeci, Mary J. Blige, Usher, Little Kim, TLC, Mariah Carey, Boyz II Men, SWV, Aretha Franklin, and others. Now please believe that these are not the people that I just named that worked with this in-house production team was a part of Bad Boy. This is just people that really like these guys work in production. Now, Maze and the Locks, and if you don't know who the Locks is, you can look them up. There's 3 rappers: Jadakiss, Sheik Luch, and oh my God, the last guy, Styles P, aka the Ghost, was the last 3 that joined with Bad Boy. Now, during this time, that's when the East Coast and West Coast things happen. Now, I'm not going to go into much detail with the East Coast and West Coast because it's a long, drawn-out process, but I'm just going to dumb it down to this. Diddy was friends at one point with Tupac, along with Biggie Smalls. Tupac was also going, which is from New York originally, was hanging out with the likes of guys like Haitian Jack and Jimmy Henchman. Keep those names in mind. If you don't know who Haitian Jack was a larger-than-life character in the entertainment world at that time, but he was also in the underworld as well as a hustler. Yeah, even back then, you had dope boys in the music business that was living both worlds. No lie there. Jimmy Henchman was Haitian's Jack friend. So either way it goes, as time went on, Haitian Jack and Tupac had a dispute. I don't know what the dispute was at the present time. I just know that Haitian Jack felt disrespected, but he was going to let it ride. But Jimmy Henchman wasn't feeling it because he was like, nah, man, I can't let him disrespect the crew. So they came up with a plot to rob Tupac and basically teach him a lesson and take his chain. And the jury that Haitian Jack had purchased for invested in Tupac. Well, they lured Tupac down there to the station, to the studio, saying, hey, we got a new artist. He wants to make a music with you. We got 7 bands, which is $7,000 to do the track. Come on, man. Well, after Jimmy Hendrix and them kept playing games, 1 minute I got it, next minute I don't have it. That finally they said, all right, man, I got the money. So in cash, come on down, everything's good. Well, Tupac did lay down the vocals on the track. And he did felt during the whole time, he has said this many times in interviews, that he had a bad feeling that something wasn't right. And when he got through laying the track and was ready to exit, that's when all hell broke loose. Some guys in some fatigues shot Tupac, I want to say 5 times. It was bad. And by the time he was trying to run away and got up to the next floor, up to the 10th floor where Biggie and Puff was, and the other guy that was involved in this mess, he felt like that he was betrayed by Biggie and Puffy, and felt like they had something to do with it. But in reality, the only person that knew what was going on was Puffy and Andre Harrell. They were alerted by Jimmy Henchman, and this other guy that was involved, Haitian Jack, that they were going to put the pause on Tupac. So this was already known. But see, Puff Daddy and Andre Harrell kept it to themselves. And I'm quite sure why, allegedly, that he kept it to himself with many stories. People said that they knew that if Biggie would have found out that Puffy was going to let these guys, would have told Biggie that these guys was going to hurt Tupac, that he would have stopped it, because him and Tupac really did had a good relationship. Now, side note, during the 90s, people wanted to always wonder the actual rumor. Was Tupac and Biggie going to start a label? This is by many sources. Yes, they were. They were going to start a label. It is true. That is not a lie. They was going to start a label, and at the time, when starting per said label, they were on good terms. Okay, very good terms. In fact, uh, Biggie, Notorious B.I.G., and Tupac were so close that he inspired Notorious to change his flow and to also start doing more ballads for the ladies. So yes, Tupac were definitely going to really inspire Big and him and himself to change the world. So it was pretty sad that these two were not able to pull that off, because I really felt like if those two could have survived all of this cutthroat stuff that was going on in the industry at that time, they would have been a force to be reckoned with, man. For real, for real. For real, for real. So, moving right along into the story. So, either way it goes, we're going to go now into the world of when Diddy actually popped off and really exploded. So 1996 was a good year for Puff Daddy. He dropped the debut single with his as a rapper, Can't Nobody Hold Me Down. Uh, it peaked at number one and everything else. Then he turned around and released his debut album, No Way Out, which was released on July 22nd, 1997, which were actually about 3 months after Notorious B.I.G. was killed in Los Angeles. Now, when the No Way Out had a lot of success, because this first week of release, it sold 561,000 copies. He had some big singles on that album too. He had "I'll Be Missing You," a tribute to Notorious B.I.G., which at this time now people really want to know, was that really a tribute because he loved Big, or was it a tribute because Big made his pockets fat after death? It's all about the Benjamins, Been Around the World, Victory. Remember about Victory, and then Come With Me. So that album from 97 to 98, No Way Out, everybody was bumping that joint. I remember that in school. You anybody that was a bad boy fan on the East Coast, especially, they had that album. They was bumping that. Puff got all the troops in and made sure that they were enjoying that album. Now, let's don't forget, in 1998, he also got 5 nominations at the 40th Grammy Awards. He was also would go on to win Grammy Award for the Best Rap Album, and that was on September the 7th, 2000, for selling that particular album, No Way Out. So I want y'all to think about that. No Way Out, here it is, 2000. This joint was released in 1997, and it was still popping charts for 3 straight years. I mean, that album was just that hard. And not to mention, too, that album as well was certified multiple platinum. It almost went diamond because it got 7 million copies. I want y'all to think about that. That album did 7 million copies, dude. That's like 7 times platinum. If he would have went 3 more times, he had 3 more million to sell, he would have been considered diamond. That would have been a diamond album. So yeah, Puffy was out here. Puffy was out here getting it now. He was getting it in the music scene. Just straight getting it. Now we're gonna keep on going further. So he's at the height of his success in 1997 in the to late 90s to early 2000s. Life is good. Like, this guy is on top of the world. But here comes the dirty laundry in 1999. So Combs was charged with assaulting Steve Stout of Interscope Records. Now, if you don't know who Steve Stout is, I'm about to show you who he looks like. Now, I'm gonna see if I can get the younger days of Steve Stout. Let me get a good picture of Stevie. So y'all guys can see old Stevie Stout here. And here we go, Steven Stout. About to go share this right here. Y'all hit the like button, man. Hit the like button. Share this, share this, share this. A lot of information coming down the pipeline about Diddy. This right here is going to be a masterpiece that I've been working on for you guys, so y'all can get an idea of who he is and how we arrived to here. So this is Steve Stout today. I couldn't find a younger picture of Steve Stout back in the day, but this is Steve Stout back then. You know what I mean? So let me go ahead on here and get into Steve Stout. Trying to get it to switch around. Let me see something. I think it's not. I was trying to get it where y'all can see me on the other side of the screen, but I don't think it's gonna let me do it. No, it ain't gonna let me. I tried. Anyway, getting back to Steve Stout, uh, Combs, which is AKA Puffy, was charged with assaulting Steve Stout of Interscope Records. Now, Stout was the manager for Nas at that time, which he filmed the video "You Can Hate Me Now." Now, this video was very controversial. I'm going to tell you why. Combs was concerned that that video featured a shot of Nas and Combs being crucified was blasphemous. He asked for the scenes on the cross to be pulled, but after the video aired unedited on MTV on April 15th, Combs visited Stout offices, and that's when him and Stout got in. Now, here's my thing about that. I don't know why he got mad with Stout for this, because you was at the, you knew this was not gonna be, this is not the thing you believed in, then why did you went through with it? I mean, what made you have the all of a sudden change of, oh my God, this can't be aired. This gotta be stopped. I mean, that was a part, and not only that, if they would have took it out, the video wouldn't have made sense because you're talking about only God can judge you. And the thing was just like the thieves in the Bible when they got nailed onto the cross, the criminals. They were asking for the God to forgive them for what they have done, most of them, because they only want to be judged by God. So I don't know. I guess that's just how crazy uh Puffy was becoming. Then Puffy released his second solo studio album called Forever. Now, that was in 1999 in North America and the UK, and on August 24th, 1999. Now, it reached number 2 on Billboard 200 and number 1 on the top R&B and hip hop album chart. Before being ousted the following week by Mary J. Blige's fourth album, Mary. Now, the album received positive to mixed reviews from the music critics and spawned 3 singles that charted on the Billboard chart. And that was about it. Now, 2001 to 2004, he made another album called P. Diddy and the Saga Continues. Now, this is about 2001. Now, Combs then decided to change his name to Puff Daddy, from Puff Daddy to P. Diddy. Now, he did a gospel album called Thank You. And it was completed just before the beginning of the weapons trial, which was crazy because this is the time, and let's talk about the weapons trial. So the weapons trial is when he at the same time had found an artist named Shine. Okay, Sean Burrows. Now Sean Burrows, who is now over in Belize as a political leader, was signed to Puffy. Now Puffy promised this guy all kinds of stuff. Y'all hit the like button at the time. So I want to show y'all a picture of Shine, the rapper, because I know y'all would definitely want to know who this is. I don't want to be telling you this stuff and you like, well, who is these fucking? Well, I'm about to tell you. First name is Moses, but nickname was Sean Barrow. Now, Sean Barrow is definitely not the same guy he was back in the day. Let me see if I can find a back in the day of Shine in a now cover. Uh, I'm trying to find it. Okay. All right. Now this right here is blowing my mind. I'm telling you, jail can really change people. Never thought it would change Shine because Shine sounded to me like he was a hardcore dude. But anyway, Shine was this guy that was from Belize originally. If you don't know where Belize is a part of Central America. All right. It's part of South America, Central America area. Uh, very small country. They are very dark toned people over there. If you meet anyone from Belize most of the time, most of the people over there they look like they black. Okay, it's just like being in the Dominican Republic. So they're very dark skinned people, brown skinned people, but they are very loyal people too. Most of them from Belize, they believe in loyalty and they believe in friendship. They take this type of stuff seriously. So at the time, Sean is partying with uh Sean, Sean and P. Diddy. P. Diddy at the time was dating Jennifer Lopez. So they decided to go to I don't know, out one night to a club. And while they were going out to this club, which is completely nuts, that P. Diddy, who's made so many enemies in the industries and off from the industries because of his God complex, ran into someone that he's been beefing with named a guy named Scar. So him and this guy Scar got into it. And before you know it, Puffy pull out his gun and Shine pull out his gun. Now they said Shine shot up in the air, but Puffy shot a woman directly in the face. Now I don't know if this woman was with Big Scar or they said she was a victim. And he just was shooting wildly, the way they explained it. And then after things got crazy, he jumped him and uh, Jennifer Lopez hopped out of the club, ran off, left Shine basically, and yep, that's how all of this mess started. Now, Puffy got this weapon charge. He was facing some serious time. Jennifer Lopez was also facing a little bit of time because of her possibly being involved. Allegedly, they said she carried the gun in the club for Puffy and held it. Some say that Puffy already had the gun on him. It's always been a conflicted story. But I do know this: Puffy got off. Puffy had the right lawyers and got off. Now Shine, on the other hand, did not get off. Shine got convicted because Puffy would pay for that man's lawyer. The man had to pay for his own lawyer, and Puffy Show wasn't doing anything to help this guy out at all. So Shine wound up spending 10 years in prison. Now, word on the street about that is Shine did get compensated by Diddy to take the fall. That's what's been even stated in the tell-all book that Kim Porter just released. The guy Jamal Tillman, pseudonym for a white gentleman that had the transcripts of the book from Kim before she died, but she stated that there was a financial transaction on it. But either way, when Shine got released, the United States was like, listen, player, you are not staying in our country. You got to go back to Belize. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you was involved in the shooting. You know, we ain't giving you no citizenship chances. Have a good life. But it worked out fine because now he's a politician in Belize. He's well respected and people love him. Now let's get back to the destruction of Diddy. Now, during that year, Diddy's fighting weapons charges, but he had the nerve to get his film on. He was appeared as a drug dealer in the film Made with Halle Berry, Heath Ledger, and Billy Thornton in Monster Ball. Now, so yeah, he's a drug dealer in the film Made, and then Monster Ball. He really played. He played a pretty good role in that too, because he was like Halle Berry's baby daddy, who's on death row. So you gotta check out Monster Ball. It's when Halle Berry is at her freakiest with Billy Bob Thornton. It's crazy. Very intense, passionate scene. Then Combs began working with a series of artists that just for him. Now, he was also a manager of Khalees. And if you don't know who Khalees is, she's the one that made that song, My Boyfriend's Bring All the Shit to the Yah, 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 Yah. Yeah, she made that. And she was also the one that is the ex-wife of Nas. But that's another day, another time. Then he also would open act for NSYNC. And he signed the pop girl group Dream to his record label. And he was the producer of the soundtrack for the film Training Day. So he was getting it in. Now in 2001, Cone decided to end his Bad Boy distribution deal with Arista Records. He wanted to gain full control of the label, he wanted his catalog and his roster of artists. Then the saga continued. Released on July the 10th in North America, was the last studio album released by the joint venture. Then after that, the album reached number 2 on the Billboard 200 and the top R&B hip hop album charts. And it was eventually certified platinum. It is the only studio album under the P. Diddy name and the first album by Sean Combs not to feature any guest appearances by Jay-Z or Little Kim. Combs was an executive producer also of the reality TV show Making the Band. And now, Making the Band was pretty interesting. He had all of these people fighting for a spot to get on Bad Boy. Because again, Bad Boy was still the shit. And his job was to get these people to like do some of the most craziest things. When I say craziest things, I'm talking about he might make them go all across town to get him a coffee, have so many minutes to come back, have them working all night singing. Now, during that time, he had the band. That's the first act. Then he had Danity Kane, Day 26. Then he had Donnie Klang. Now, there is lawsuits coming from Danity Kane. There's a lot of people from the band that cannot stand Diddy, talk about how Diddy did them dirty. Day 26, I really never heard anything about how their and Diddy relationship was. I do know there was an all male group. And Donnie Klang, I forgot about him. Uh, he only released only one album. And I don't know what happened to him after that. So he hasn't released any music since 2011. I'm quite sure that he's like everyone else, where he's probably as they would say, um blacklisted. Because one thing about Diddy, he blacklisted a lot of people in the business. And if he once he got done with it, he was blacklisted in a heartbeat. Now, Day 26, these guys, they still going strong. Um, they did a reunion tour at one point. So yeah, it's crazy about where these guys are at now. But most of the band members are doing reality TV shows and stuff like that. So there's some people that have survived Diddy on their own, but there's others that's like, yeah, it was fun while it lasted and didn't make it. Let's continue about Diddy, man. About how crazy this cat is. Now, 2005. Now P. Diddy decided that, I'm tired of being called P. Diddy. Just call me Diddy, baby. That was on August the 16th of 2005. He made the announcement. Then he decided to do another film where he was played as Carlito's Way Rise to Power. He played Waterly Younger in the 2004 Broadway revival, A Raisin in the Sun. And then the television adaptation that aired in February 2008. Now, in 2005, Combs sold half of his record company to Warner Music. Interesting. He hosted the 2005 MTV Video Music Awards, and he was named one of the 100 most influential people of 2005 by Time Magazine. He was mentioned in the country song "Play Something Country" by Brooks and Dunn. The lyrics said he didn't come to hear P. Diddy, which is rhymed with something thumping from the city. In 2006, that's when Combs refused to release rapper Mace from his contract obligations with Bad Boy to allow him to join the group G Unit. 50 Cent recorded this song, Hip Hop. The lyrics imply that Combs knew the identity of the notorious B.I.G. murderer. The two resolved the feud, but it resurfaced in later years. Now, we will talk about that shortly, a little bit after we get through old Diddy. So now, as this is going on, Combs released his first album in 4 years, Press Play, on Bad Boy Records. Now, he had guest appearances by many popular artists. It debuted at #1, okay? With sales over 173,000, a 9 uh, with its single Come to Me and Last Night. And it reached the top 10. Now, it got mixed reviews from the critics, but it did win certified gold. Never went platinum. But on September 18, 2007, Combs teamed up with 50 Cent and Jay-Z for the Forbes Get Money $1 Billion remix, which is crazy because right now, 50 Cent, Jay-Z, and Diddy are billionaires, and 50 Cent is always on the way to being a billionaire. That's crazy. Now, in 2008, the representative denied rumors of another name change. Combs ventured to reality television in August 2008 with the VH1 series I Want to Work for Diddy. He appeared credited under his name in 2 episodes of season 7 of CSI Miami, presumed guilty, and Sink or Swim, in the role of lawyer Derek Powell. Crazy, ain't it? So yeah, I Want to Work for Diddy. I don't know how that went out or whatever. But anyway, now it's 2010, and he created a rap supergroup known as the Dream Team. Now this group consisted of Combs, Rick Ross, DJ Khaled, Fat Joe, Busta Rhymes, Red Cafe, and Fabulous. Now Combs made an appearance as at comedian Chris Gethard's live show in January 2010 at the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater in New York City. But in June 2010, Combs played a role in the comedy film Get Him to the Greek as Sergio Roma, a record company executive. An Entourage series executive announced that Combs would guest star on an episode during the 2010 season. Now, recruiting singers Don Richard and Kalina Harper. And please remember Kalina Harper because she is also very important in all of this when it comes to the Diddy past. All right. All right. Let me get my chain of thought. Combs formed the female duo Diddy Dirty Money in 2009. The trio's first and only album, Last Train to Paris, was released by Interscope on December 13, 2010. And I remember that album. It was a pretty good album. The release was preceded by 4 singles: Angels, Hello, Good Morning, Loving You No More, and Coming Home. Each saw mixed success on the Billboard's Hot 100. Although the latter peaked at number 11 on the US Hot 100, number 4 in the UK, and number 7 in Canada, Combs produced the group and often performed with them. On March 10th, 2011, Diddy and Dirty Moment performed Coming Home live on American Idol. Then on 2011, April 18th, 2011, Combs appeared in the season 1 of Hawaii Five-0. and he was starring as an undercover NYPD detective. And November 12th, November 2012, Combs appeared in an episode of the eighth season of the American sitcom It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Now, 2014, February 26, 2014, Holmes premiered Big Homie, featuring Rick Ross and French Montana as the first single from his mixtape Triple M, Money Making Mitch, which was originally scheduled to release that year. Now, the song was released for digital download on March the 24th, and 2 days later, the trailer for the music video was released. The full version of the music video was released on March the 31st, my birthday. Combs used his former stage name, Puff Daddy, for the album. Now, Triple M was released as a free mixtape album of 12 tracks on November 4th, 2015. In July 2014, an Israeli record producer, Guy Gerber, released the collaborative album uh, 1111 as a free download. On June 29th, 2015, Combs released the single Finna Get Loose, which featured vocals and production by Pharrell Williams. Now, 2015, Bad Boy signed Gizzle, told the press that she was collaborating with Combs on ultimately canceling album No Way Out 2 sequel to his 1997 debut. She described the music as unique. The mindset is to be classic and to be epic and really live up to that. We know it's all that's just a tall order, but we welcome the challenge. In April 2016, Combs announced that after this album and its accompanying tour, he planned to retire from the music business and focus on acting. Uh, but hold on for a second. All right, I'm back, guys. All right, I'm back, guys. Hey, can y'all still hear me? Hey, can y'all still hear me? Victory, remember about victory, and then come with me. So that album, All right, great. Let's make sure everybody can hear me. All right, thank you very much. So let me get back to what I was saying because my wife kind of disturbed me for asking me a question right quick. Sorry about that, y'all. Ask me a question right quick. My mistake. Anyway, getting back to what I was saying. Now, when this all went down, like I said before, he signed Jizzle. She described the music as unique. The mindset is to be classic and to be epic and to really live up to what we know is a tall order. Now, as that um, is going on with that challenge being welcomed into the music industry, in April 2016, Combs announced that after his album and his accompanying tour, like I said before, he planned to retire from the music industry to focus on acting. Now, on May 20th and 21st of 2016, Combs launched a tour of Bad Boy Records. That was the biggest names to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the label. Now, the documentary Can't Stop, Won't Stop, A Bad Boy Story was covering the two shows at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, and as well as behind the scenes events was released on June the 23rd, 2017. Now, the show toured to an additional 20 venues across the United States and Canada. Now, when 2018 comes around, that's when on 2017 of November, he decided to tell the whole world on the Jimmy Kimmel Live show that his new name was going to be called Love, aka Brother Love. Then he told them 2 days later to the press that he'd been joking, but then he announced it again on 2018 on the Jimmy Kimmel Live show again. So anyway, as he's going by that name, that he swore out that making the band was going to return again on 2020. But due to COVID-19 pandemic, it failed to do so. Then it was delayed again for a release in 2021. Before, after that, I guess MTV was like, listen, it was good while it lasted, but this show got to stop. Now, after that happened, Combs decided to produce a new singer from Nigeria named Burna Boy. And his first album was Twice as Tall. Now, that was released in August 14th of 2020. And y'all need to check that out because I tell you what, I didn't know that that type of music is good. I don't know who this is. Hold on for a second, y'all. Let me look at this. Yo, man, I'm removing this cat, man. I don't know who this is. It's coming all in my joint. Yeah, yeah. I don't want this dude nowhere near me. That was a dummy. I don't know who this damn troll is, but he's a fantastic. Now, after he did Burner Boy's album, he also hosted the 2022 Billboard Music Awards. And in that year of 2022, which was in May, he said that he was going to start a new record label, and it was going to be called Love Records. And he was doing a part of a recording contract with Motown. And Combs himself, the label inaugural artist, was singer Jazzy, who signed to the label that same month. Now, the following June, he released the single "Gotta Move On," and he featured singer Bryson Tiller and marked his first entry at number 79 on the Billboard Hot 100 since coming home. It was promoted as the lead single for the album. Although it was only included on expanded edition, but on August 22nd, 2023, that one called released a teaser trailer for his fifth studio album, Love Album Off the Grid. And I want y'all to keep in mind, this is the album that really got Diddy in a whole lot of bullshit. But we about to get to that in a minute. Now, he had some good lead singles on that one. Another One of Me. He had The Weeknd, French Montana, 21 Savage. It hit the Billboard at number 87. Then now the album only got as high as 19. People was kind of mixed with how it was. Some people thought it was a little out of date, but hey, it was independent. Now, as we proceed, we are now about to go into how this thing all started in 2023. Now, in 2023, after releasing this album, Sean Combs had an issue with his liquor brand that he was in conjunction with Ciroc, which was acquired by Diageo. Now, Diageo is a British multinational alcoholic company. Now, when you get involved with the liquor game, and you can look this up as well with a lot of the mobsters that's in the business, that it is hard to get in that game. And once you get in there, you have to be like literally follow their rules to a T. If they tell you that you're going to get a certain percentage, you got to stick with that certain percentage. It ain't no, I'm going to do what I want to do and fuck you. It doesn't work that way. You got to stay on code with the liquor game. Well, unfortunately, I guess Diddy started seeing that he was hitting billionaire status with all the things he was accomplishing in his life, that he felt like, hey, I should be able to get what I want with Ciroc. So at the end of the day, Diageo started focusing their money on their other brands because they was like, listen, you're the face for Ciroc, people gonna buy it. And there was another liquor company that Sean owned as well. And let me make sure I got the name of that right too. He also had De Leon. Now, again, De Leon was a tequila with Diageo. Now, Diageo started focusing on their other groups or their other liquor ventures. So while they're focusing on those other liquor ventures, Puff Daddy was making $65 million a year on average with both of these brands of liquor. So he was not losing money. So please keep that in mind. The dude was getting paid off the liquor. But the problem is that Diddy wanted the liquors to be under his name only. And he wanted more money for marketing. Well, Diageo and them was like, look, bro, we're not doing that. You are selling $65 million a year worth of this shit. That's pretty good. You get 50%. We good right now. Just chill. Well, Sean did the most stupidest thing that you could ever do with a liquor company. He decided to sue Diageo in May of 2023. Now, this was his claims were. They didn't invest in the brand as promised, treated them as inferior urban products, limited distribution to urban neighborhoods, resented Combs for making too much money. Okay. I'm going to make this very clear for a lot of people that don't understand the liquor game. Tell you, boy, I must have made it. So we got trolls tonight, baby. I made it. That's all you're gonna get. Good luck. Yo, man, let them keep making these trolls. I love it. The more trolls we get, the more people we can get in here. I love it. I love it. I love it. Because they killing their own stuff doing all that. Anyway, getting back to what I was saying. When this all went down with these allegations, De Leon and them decided, you know what? We're just not even going to worry about it no more. We just gonna pay you out. Okay, here you go. We're gonna settle this legal documentation and everything. And this all happened in January 17th of 2024. This was the new year. Now, this is when things start hitting the fan for Diddy. When Diddy decides to get paid out for De Leon Tequila in Ciroc, that's when all of the stuff that he was doing started getting exposed. And let's talk about the first things first. So the first thing that came up in Diddy's life that Diddy show did not want no one to know about is what he did to Cassie. Now, Cassie filed a lawsuit around about the start of, I want to say 2024, sometime in 2024, 2023, she did on November the 16th. Now, keep this in mind. When she filed this, he was already dealing with another lawsuit in the past he thought he had put behind him. But when Cassie filed, Cassie went into great detail of what type of man Puff was. Now, when people saw this, people first said, okay, this is a money grab. You know what I'm saying? Because when you see a lot of people in relationships want to sue people for for a large amount of money, you know, we all gonna say it's a money grab, but it was not a money grab because it's actually come to find out that it was really true what was going on with Cassie. Now I am about to show y'all the picture of Cassie Ventura so you can kind of tell who she is and how that went about. Cassie, one moment, I'm pulling it up now. So this is Cassie Ventura. If you see next to P Diddy. Now, when P Diddy met Cassie, Cassie was 19 years old. Okay, I want y'all to think about this. She's 19 years old, and she was involved with a guy that was in the music business that was like a singer and producer, Ryan Leslie. Now, Ryan Leslie is not no as they would call spring chicken. I think Ryan is probably long with Diddy, maybe a little bit younger than Diddy. I don't know for sure, but I know he's yeah, he's long with me and my wife's age. So yeah, he long our age. He about 40. He's 45 years old at this present time. But I remember this guy because he made a lot of music with the Bad Boy Connection and Pop Connection back in Neo Soul back then. Ryan Leslie was hot. So with music. So at that time, he discovered Cassie. Cassie was under his tutelage. That was his girlfriend. And he introduced her to Diddy. And Diddy swooped in like a vulture. Like, and I say that man swooped in, that man put the every type of smooth line that you can impress a 19-year-old to say, well, damn. I mean, why I'm dealing with Ryan Leslie when I got a damn near billionaire after my ass. And he's a little bit older. Okay, let's do it. So that's how he got Cassie. And when he got her, he really showed her that life was not green on the other side. So in the lawsuit, she talked about the abuse. She talked about how this guy was actually tricking her out. Now, if you don't know what tricking out means, I'm going to put it like this. This is basically means you exploiting your girl in a sexual manner for other people. And I have to put it like this because I'm on YouTube, but I'm also going to do another video of being more explicit of some of the things that happened or been rumored to happen to Cassie on my Patreon, which will be up and running possibly tomorrow. So anyway, as soon as Cassie got involved with it, it just all started. She got on the hardcore drugs, and especially the famous substance called Tusi. Now, Tusi is like a combination of a lot of drugs, ecstasy, ketamine, I think morphine, whatever it is, everything you can think of that will get you a super high. It's a designer drug. And when people take this drug, it's just that's when the freak off begins. And it is so intense that she even reported in her lawsuit that people had to take IVs. I want y'all to see and think about this. IVs like an athlete or something. You're having that kind of relations with people for so long that you got to take IVs, bruh. I'm out on that. I'm sorry. That's crazy. But that's why the freak offs was considered as orgies. Now a lot of people was in Diddy's offense to say they didn't believe it. But all of a sudden, Diddy closed the deal and gave this girl an undisclosed amount of money. Some people say the full 30. Some people say it was more like 15 mil. I don't know. It was not disclosed. But as soon as he did that, the feds began to investigate who he really is. Now, during this time, the feds also was looking at another uh, lawsuit. And this is by the gentleman on that Love album. Remember I told y'all about that? Little Rod. Now, Little Rod had a whole freaking book, pictures and all, about everything that Diddy was trying to get him to do. Even went as far as saying that Diddy was trying to get him to engage in men on men relations. Also tried to get him to uh, let my one of the girls from the City Girls, Miami, whatever her name is, to her sister to mess with him. Also, there was an allegation that he drugged Little Rod Jones one time and had him dealing with sex workers, male or female. So it was just getting out of hand with what was saying. Now his son was saying, "Oh, it's pure fiction," but that's not the last thing. The other thing was the other allegations coming from women from his past that also said that they were remember that he recorded them back in the 90s and they was in college and that they were forced to mess with him and Aaron Hall. Now, people can believe Aaron Hall because there's a clip, and I will try to put that also in my sources, that Aaron Hall, the R&B singer, which was part of Guy, and he has also talked about how he would brag about having relations in front of his boys and brag about how he could basically do what he do, which is disgusting. I don't know why you would even brag about something like that on public TV. And believe me, Aaron Hall is damn near 60 years old. So that's like your granddaddy getting explicit in front of your face. It's like, oh God, dude, stop, go home. So yeah, it's crazy. But this is how sick these guys were back in the day. All right, and still is. So when this came about, all of a sudden the FBI showed up at the house of Puffy back in March. Now, when this happened, this blew everybody's mind. March 25th, 2004, you had three of his homes raided: the Los Angeles home, the New York home, and the Miami home. At the same time, they could they did at the same time, and that's how the feds work. They come at you at the same time. And Department of Homeland Security was involved, and the search warrant came from the Southern District of New York. The search warrant. Now they said allegedly, as of now, they have pulled out the following out of that house. The houses. They found videotapes, like media. They confiscated laptops. They said they discovered, that's right, 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Yeah. And other things as well. And drugs as well, too. Now, when that was all discovered, that's when 6 months later, they picked up Diddy, and Diddy's in jail. Now, let's talk about why Diddy is not out of jail. Now, Diddy went in front of the court, which was last week, twice. The first time he went in front of a judge and asked for bail, they were like, hell to the no, right? No bail, you're not getting. So his lawyers tried again. They were like, all right, man, this is what we can offer: a $50 million bail package. You can take my mama house for collateral. You can take my Los Angeles house for collateral, as long as I can stay in my Miami house or my New York house as well. Not to mention, too, I will have security that will document who comes in and out of my house. There will be no women around me unless it's my immediate family, like my daughter, my sister, and my actual mother. Not to mention, too, I will have an ankle monitor, and I will not even access anything towards any of the victims. Like, you can monitor me all day, y'all. I just don't not want to go to jail. The judge was like, "Fuck that. We're not doing it that way, Diddy. You are a danger. You have access to people. You are a flight risk. Yeah, we got your passport, but you got so much money, you can make you a new passport. We can't trust you. Jail you go." So he is now in the worst jail of all time for a federal person to be held at in Brooklyn. Now, oh God, y'all, whoo, the things that's going on in that jail is crazy. Let's talk about that Diddy's jail situation. Whew. This jail is nasty. It is the nasty jail that you can imagine. Like, this is the type of jail that people talk about that is a nightmare. So I'm gonna give y'all the skinny on this jail. But y'all, I'm gonna read it to y'all again. Fair use, fair use. Because I want y'all to see how bad this jail is for my man too. Well, not my man's, but just how bad the jail is. Like you, yeah, ain't nobody get you. You're not getting out of that jail. So this jail here is definitely not the type of jail that Diddy is used to, the type of living conditions. We're talking about a man that is used to being at 48 million, 28 million, sometimes as high as $65 million mansions, to now being in a place that is not even fit for uh, human living conditions at all. Not even consumption, living conditions. So right now, he is in a place called MDC. That is what it's called, the Brooklyn Metropolitan Detention Center. All right. He is possibly separated from everybody else, which is because he's a high risk, high target person. They say right now he is on what you call uh, unalive watch. Unalive watch is basically to make sure, I think that's a regular precautions for anybody of his status to be in a culture shock situation like this. Uh, they said that he most likely is concerned about his kids, but let's see, trying to see what the conditions is. All right. So he's around 1,200 detainees right now. It's like about a waterfront. There's a lot of violence. The conditions is horrible. Now, they said that this place is the type of place, like now it's becoming the fall of the year. They don't get heat in this place. There is no heat in this place in the wintertime. You are always cold. You got to have multiple blankets. Thank you, K Scott. I appreciate it. I appreciate you for liking my work, man. Donate to the channel, baby. Um, Also too, here's another thing that you got to look at when it comes to this. They got severe staffing shortages, and in regular population, there's always a widespread of smuggling of drugs and any kind of contraband you could think of. And some of it is facilitated by the employees. They have frequent lockdowns and have been barred from leaving their cells for visit, calls, showers, or exercise. So imagine that. Not to mention too, they have had in 2019 a week-long power failure where people couldn't even have any power or wash their behind. You know what I'm saying? Now there are some judges that would not even send prisoners to this place because it's so inhumane. Now y'all got to remember too. There's been a lot of people remanded in this. R. Kelly has been here. Uh, Maxwell the singer. Uh, Bankman Freed. He was also there. So yeah, it's a rough prison. And then this is not the same jail that Jeffrey Epstein was at when he got unalive himself, allegedly. So anyway, they got him in a special housing unit. And right now, they're trying to get him moved to the New Jersey federal jail, but they said it's up to the feds, and the feds probably doubt it. I doubt they are. They want this guy to suffer. And let me tell you why. They want Diddy to break so they can get Diddy to turn over any information they feel like that can help their case. This is what the feds do, man. The feds is twisted. They don't give a damn. If they know they can get you to squeal, and this is not by my personal experience, this is what I heard from my family members that's been in the feds. They gonna do everything they can to make you uncomfortable because they want to see you break. And that's what they're gonna do to Diddy. They're gonna probably keep him in the worst condition. They're probably gonna cut a lot of his limited access to family and stuff like that, only to probably to his trial lawyers and stuff. They want him to feel it. And they want him to be so overly stressed that when he comes to them, he's going to unload everything. And that's why all these celebrities are shaking in their boots. Because this man is in a situation where a lot of people can get fucked up. So what do I feel about do uh Diddy deserve what's happening to him now about freak offs? Well, here's the thing, y'all. There's nothing wrong with being an adult and being a freak. I'm gonna put that out there now. I mean, everybody got a freaky side, everybody got a high sex drive, low sex drive, or interested in whatever. The problem is with Diddy high sex drive situation is that he had women and men wanting to leave when they started to feel uncomfortable, and he wasn't allowing them to leave. See, that's when it gets sticky. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's trying to promote that the defense going to say, well, they were adults and they were consenting. Okay, that's cool. But the problem is they wanted to leave. These people saying they wanted to leave, and there's documentation. There's and the feds probably got it on videos allegedly that he wouldn't let these people leave. So when you holding someone against their will and won't let them leave, then they're messed up with partaking in drugs, or you keep feeding them drugs while they're under the influence. This is what happens. This is when you become a Fed case. I mean, that's just facts. That's why you gotta be careful in this day and age how you party. Me myself, at the age I am, if I'm a superstar, I'm not partying with nobody. I'm only partying with one person, my wife. And we is going to be not under no influence of nothing. Maybe a little wine and alcohol, but ain't gonna be no substances because I ain't trying to hear that. Hell no. Because this right here is more than just a eye raiser. This is disturbing in all aspects. So yeah, Diddy's not getting out anytime soon. The trial could be anywhere from months to years. I just know that right now the feds are going to probably delay this trial so they can make him sweat because the whole deal is to make Diddy sweat. Diddy gonna wind up doing a deal. I'm telling y'all that now. Because if he takes this to trial, he ain't gonna come out on the best side of the fence because the federal conviction rate is 95% in the United States of America. The government do not hardly lose. I think it's probably about 98% now because it takes a miracle to beat the damn feds. But anyway, we'll keep you posted on the story. I hope y'all enjoy this podcast about what's going on with uh P. Diddy. Again, if you want to see unedited version of content, I will start putting it on my locals as well for this podcast here. And if you want to see my unedited content on my crime stories, which I'll be finishing my Killer Neighbor season this week, you can also check that out on my Patreon, which will be You Can't Make This BS Up. All right. So again, thank y'all very much for joining me. I appreciate y'all. Take care of yourself and each other. Drop in the comments and tell me what you think about P. Diddy, man. Do you think P. Diddy gonna beat the case? And do you think that P. Diddy lost his protection when he sued the alcohol beverage company. Tell me what you think, man. I want to know y'all answers. Take care. Y'all know what it is. I'm out.